Well, there it is. Hey guys, this is WTiiWarcraft here. Thank you very much for watching. This is an update. There's been another patch for Warcraft 3. This is definitely getting me a little bit more excited. So this is going to improve FPS and just the feel of the game, including the menus. I've just experienced a bit of it myself, so you can probably hear I'm a little bit more chipper. So I'm going to show you guys. First of all, we're going to read the patch notes. So Pete Stillwell says, "Howdy friends, we hope everyone that didn't have weekend plans will join us, especially Mac players, to test this update. Release is on the horizon and we appreciate your contributions to the process. Go team. Specific changes and improvements, performance optimizations and stability improvements for menus and gameplay. Local fonts updated, and bug fixes include all locales. Is it locales or locals? You decide in the comment section below. Have function in voiceover and portrait animations again. Classic camera is restored. So if you remember in the previous video I did about the latest patch, there was a slight difference in terms of how the game felt, just simply because the game camera was actually angled 10% apparently. So the dev note says the camera position moved by 10% when we started drawing the game. Full screen to support the new console UI. The original game stopped drawing where it met the original UI. We're working on adjustments to the washed out team colors, making wisps or similar elements with transparency faint in classic." So you're going to maybe see that, because I did experience that. So we're going to go into the gameplay now. So let's go with Reforged Beta to begin with. Okay. So one moment. You will see immediately. So get ready, because it's coming. Here we go. Check out those menus. So I wonder if it's actually inbuilt that the menus have to scroll up and scroll down. There's like no way around it. The only way I could probably have it, because I've had the game for so long and played it for so long, and I would rather this just be an option because it's personal for me, is just to have the menus like instantly pop up. But this is the closest fix I think they could come up with, which is this super smooth, super fast, like throw into the next screen. Look at this. Also, the portraits have been improved. They look even better. Like, look at these. They're incredible. Damn, Arthas, you've had a bad day. You're taking it out on everyone else. Yeah, they've had an improvement to the skins, at least the portrait section, or the icon section, however you would refer to it. Just these top parts, definitely. So you got the options here. You can go through nice and smoothly. We've got the 144 hertz, seems to be working, which feels smoother. You can switch between classic and reforged, so we're going to go into reforged. The only other thing I would say is for players that are new, they might not know whether this is actually working or not. If you switch between these two, you just simply click back and then save. But a new player might be like, oh, where's the confirm button or something like that? But that's just feedback. Whether you want to take that on or not, I don't know. I mean, eventually they'll have to click back anyway and then agree to it, but they might not realize that they're actually confirming it. So let's start with creating a custom game, and as usual on Booty Bay. So we'll just go with that. Start the game. I'm going to play as Night Elf just to actually show, because I played as random, it gave me Night Elf, and the Wisp colours were a little bit washed out and odd, but otherwise it's definitely looking better. That goes for the Classic section. However, I'm just going to do the comparison on Reforged and Classic as Night Elf, so you can kind of get a idea. The FPS is definitely improved. The loading times are still pretty long though, but we are into a game. So here's Night Elf. FPS is sitting at 120-ish now, which is a big improvement, believe it or not, in comparison to how it has been for me in Reforged. It made it quite hard to play. There's still a little bit of a stutter when it comes to trying to place down buildings, but generally speaking, it's looking better. I think the buildings still feel like they're almost capped in FPS. I don't know exactly how it works. Do you see that stutter whenever you go to build? Whether that could be my fault, I'm not entirely sure, because I have an AMD computer. So I know that there are some issues there. Hopefully those can be optimized, because I'm not very technically minded. So people were saying I should change from a first gen to a third gen. I'm not even sure how to do that. I'd have to research it and get that, because you've got to change the BIOS or update the BIOS and all that nonsense. And it's like, oh, okay, that could be a bit of a headache that I don't particularly want to have to handle. But so anyway, this is just, I'm not going to go too deep into this. We're just showing, generally speaking, how much smoother it sort of feels. Bear in mind that this is only single player, but it is created online through a custom game. I'm not streaming though, so I'm not sure if my FPS and all that's going to suffer more when I'm streaming. Most likely it will, but then again, that's my problem, because essentially I'm streaming, I'm not playing the game necessarily as is intended. So that's just stream problems. Now, let's go into the options. Go into classic, back, save, and just rinse and repeats. Actually, let's do this first. I'm going to come out of this, and I'm going to go into the Warcraft 3 that I normally run and operate. So that's my Warcraft 3 Exe. You know, traditional classic. So let's operate that. Turn this on so you can actually see. Here we are in the menu screen. Let's just go along the same principle of logging online and then creating a custom game. Who's that guy? Must be some amazing 4 versus 4 random team player. So you can see the menus are actually even almost slower in this, but they're still incredibly smooth. So Booty Bay. Create your game. Select your race. Put a computer in because you can't start otherwise. Now we're going to see what the FPS is in the Warcraft 3 that we play currently. So you can see it hovers and bounces a lot for me. Perhaps I haven't put in all the appropriate fixes and targets in the commands, but I will hover close to 200. It'll dip down to 180, then go back to 215 or so, and as the game progresses, it will gradually fall down and down, but it will still be smooth enough throughout. Despite how big fights can get, it will maintain a decent quality. Now let's go into Reforged from the beta. So just to clarify and show that this is exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to click on that. I'm swapping between my displays here, so display capture, window capture, all this kind of game capture. So we're going into Reforged. So time to turn on the game capture for that. Okay. So again, custom games, creates. So by me swapping around, hopefully it gives you guys a bit of an idea as to how this compares in many aspects. So I should be playing the classic version of the Reforged now. You can tell because the Wisps are a different color. But one thing that really amazes me is if you look at the top here, get your glasses if you need to. I'm close, if not hovering around the 300 mark. So I just came from the actual classic. And now I've got even more FPS in the Reforged version. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but damn, that's impressive. I can already tell there are some still differences, but I think they are aware of it. They're just essentially trying to repair. But it is really important, if you're listening, Classic Games team, to really try your best to get Classic to essentially be exactly what Classic is. I mean, I'll take the bonus FPS. I'm not gonna... you'll get bonus points for that. So don't bring it down to 200 FPS just because I was getting 200 FPS in the other one. But the colors do seem a little bit different. But it is basically definitely the same. Like, and the camera is much better positioned. I can immediately feel like the camera is as if I was playing the original, because I noticed it immediately. Obviously I've played a lot of games, and sometimes you'll notice things and you won't really know exactly what it is that's wrong, but you'll just feel like something's wrong. But it is feeling great, and it's nice and smooth. And yeah, it's looking good, to be honest. This is definitely the first update that's given me much greater hope. So we'll come out of that, and you can just see it feels and plays smoother. So this is looking great. So great job there, Classic Games team. Really big improvement. Hopefully you guys, by the way, if you got any stutters there, that was just me swapping over to the left-hand side monitor, so that's not on the game actually. That was my fault there. Oh, the only other thing I might say is you've got these transitions here, and I was just trying to see if I could flip them out. And I'm not sure how it is supposed to react, whether you're supposed to even... You're not really supposed to do this, let's face it. I'm just very OCD when it comes to testing and checking things, but some seem to almost load quicker. The human one almost seems to load faster, and the others sort of transition slower. So I don't know what that means, if anything, but anyway, that's just a little weird thing I'm just going to bring up at the end. Make of that what you will. But otherwise, really good. So much better. So much better. Love to find out if there's going to be any news on, you know, customizable hotkeys like in the StarCraft, but we will see. And if you are definitely listening, I still would really appreciate a second search bar anywhere, really. It doesn't matter too much to me, but it would be helpful if it would allow me to search for custom games. So if I wanted to specifically look up for fluffy hero survival, I could just type in fluff at the top here, and then it would only bring up the maps that have fluffy in it or fluff in it. So that way it's so much easier for someone like me that plays a ridiculous amount of custom games with different and weird names to be able to sort of track them down, identify them down. So that would be fantastic. And that's it. Really good news. So thank you very much, guys. If you enjoy this video, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, WTiiWarcraft on Twitter, Patreon, and Twitch. I'm Witty, so www.twitch.tv/Witty. Thank you very much, guys. Very positive. Everything's super sped up, so it's so funny. That rain is really intense, by the way. It doesn't bother me, but I just think it's funny because everything is like essentially massively sped up. You can tell. Look at that. If you was out, you would get absolutely destroyed by that rain. So anyway, take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.